Oh. So for the uninitiated, what does crawfish taste like? Is it just like any other type of sort of shelled shrimp type food, that kind of thing?
Pretty much.
It looks
I mean,
delicious when I've seen it on the shows.
they're actually a breed of lobster, a very like a miniature lobster. They're it tastes like any other shellfish, but
Okay.
Do you
when
suck
they
the
boil
head?
them in the spices, I always suck the head. Yeah, got to suck the head.
Okay.
Conversation's gone downhill fast.
Oh, here we go.
See, hold on.
Hey.
Setting it up. Redirecting. And
I think we're live.
should be it.
The wonders of modern technology.
Yep. Well, here we go. And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the official Written Undead podcast. I am Jack Childress, and as always, I'm joined by Angel Ramon and Richard Ryan Rose. Patty will be getting with us a little bit later. She's running a little behind today. No big deal. Today, we have a fantastic author, the one and only Ricky Fleet. Ricky, how's things going, my brother?
Very well, thanks, Jack. Appreciate you taking the time to have me on, mate. It is gratefully appreciated. It's getting colder here, not as cold as I expect some of you possibly are. But yeah, we're just easing into the Christmas spirit. We don't have Thanksgiving, but yeah, we're kind of getting to the point where Mariah Carey's starting to play slightly more frequently on the radio.
Yeah.
So car journeys have become even worse than they normally are. Old Carey monster comes out to play. But no, it's going well, mate. Thank you for asking.
So what are you working on right now?
Oh, everything. And I'll be brutally honest, it's driving me to distraction. I normally settle into a story. I bounce around my series bit by bit, a little scene here, a little scene there, a chapter here, not in any particular order, but something that's come to me at a particular time or a portion of the finale for one of the books. And once I've done that, it will kind of just draw me into that world, and it won't let me go until that book's finished and I'll leave the next cliffhanger. But the problem I've got at the moment is that nothing is actually grabbing my attention. So I'm working on Devoured World 5, which is my mutant APOC series set in the 22nd century. I'm working on Hellspawn 8 and Hellspawn 0.5. I'm working on Infernal 3. I've got a couple of short stories that I've just been tinkering with. When things aren't going very well, I'll kind of drop back to something else completely different just to try and just jumpstart the brain. And my urban fantasy series, which book 1 is done, sort of just trying to find a cover for at the moment. I've started book 2 in that. It's sort of like an anti-superhero, sort of basically a put upon guy gets a vaccine. Bit iffy at this time, with the current climate, but yeah, and he's been put upon his entire life, and he developed superpowers, so he gets a little bit of a bloody revenge. But in terms of, I'm kind of bouncing between all 5, and it's like I'm not going anywhere fast, because you push on with a novel, and you're sort of like another 3, another 5, another 10K, and you're closing in on that goal. When you're doing sort of 2K here, 2K there, 1K here, 1K there across multiple series, you don't feel like you're progressing anywhere. And with the need for sort of releases always in the back of your mind, it's driving me a bit nuts at the minute, I'll be honest. But
now, do you ever find yourself getting your plots like mixed up? Okay, good.
No,
good.
That's one thing. I'm quite lucky. I can drop out of one world and jump back into another world fairly easily. If I couldn't, I'd be a gibbering mess right now, because the amount of stuff that's going on in all the different series, it would destroy me. But no, I'm quite lucky that I can sort of bounce out of one, jump into the other, and a little bit of recap, and I'm back on top of things again. But as I say, I need something to bite, grab my ankle and just not let go.
I got a question for you, Ricky.
Yes, Rich.
Okay, so the way I've been writing, and I released my first book and working on a 1.5, and then going into book 2, and it seems like you got a lot of things going on all at the same time, like different books, different series. Huh?
Just don't do it. Whatever you do. No.
I was going to ask you, how do you do that?
It's when I got, what was it, about 4 or 5 books into Hellspawn, and sort of the idea for Infernal came to me, and then I got 1 book into Infernal, then another couple of books into Hellspawn, then Devoured World came to me, and I got a few books into that. The problem is it's the same old thing. The Infernal and Devoured World would not let me write the next Hellspawn until I had got those books done. Unfortunately, it's been my undoing, because I've got so many different series on the go at the moment, and I can't release any of them quick enough to keep up with what people need and want. That's another thing that I've put on myself, but it's not that I wanted to write multiple series, and basically handicap myself like this. It's simply that my brain just will not let me write a story that it is not ready to write at the time. I don't know why. And yeah, I mean, as I say, in terms of the storylines and that, I can keep those all in order across multiple series, no problem. But what I want to do, and what I would advise anybody else to do, is if they can, finish a series first, then move on to another one. Or if you're going to do it, if you've got another series that you're writing alongside it, maybe store those up as a quick release strategy once the main series is done, so that once you've hooked people with I forget the name of your bloody book. I've bought it, but I can't remember the name of it. Southern Boys or something, isn't it?
Wild-Eyed Southern Boys.
That's the one. Yeah, Wild-Eyed Southern Boys. That's the one. Yeah. So as I say, given my time again, I would have banked my Infernal series. I would have banked my Devoured World series, and I would have just covered them, got them edited, just sat somewhere, aside, completely out of the way, and just kept on, plodding along with Hellspawn, writing those, knowing that I've got to write them, but obviously only releasing them when they're ready. It's the difficulty of a bitty release schedule, whereby I'll drop 1 for one, and then I'll drop 1 for the other, then I'll drop 2 for this one, and I'll drop 1 for the other one. It's not fair on the readers, but there's nothing I can do in my head to get myself out of it. It's like my brain says, this is how it's going to work. And yeah. And there's like a little sort of like little bit of laughter in the back of my head, on one shoulder, whatever it is. But yeah, as I say, given my time again, I would 100% just, bank the other series for, potential rapid release when, the Hellspawn had been wrapped up to maybe not the complete finish, because I've got so far to go with it, but to a point where, okay, we've reached an impasse. The dead are held at bay, and everybody's okay. They're doing all right, and the baddies have been defeated, and time for a breather. Then boom, rapid release some of the other series. But no, I just started
all over the map.
And yeah, just everywhere.
ADHD meds help me.
Oh mate, I really need something. I really need something. Angel, yes, buddy.
Yes, I have a question. I'm the kind of writer who's only been writing 1 book at a time. Are you the kind of writer that could write 2 books at the same time? You jump from 1 book and then jump to another one at the same time?
Yeah, I'm writing 5 at the minute.
At the same time?
Yep.
Wow.
Plus 2 short stories.
Wow, good for you.
No, it's really not good for me, Angel. It's really not.
No?
No,
I only asked because in 2022, there's a couple of series I'm trying to write, but I'm not sure if it's good to write them at the same time or should I just do it one by one.
please don't go down as I say, that my brain is I don't, whether it, I was dropped on my head when I was a youngster,
Ouch.
something's
Yeah.
something's not quite wired up right up there. But no, as I say, I don't struggle to write in multiple series. It annoys me that I'm writing across multiple series because I know I've got to get books out there to people. It's I've got a loyal fan base, which I'm eternally grateful for.
Right.
You can't build up any kind of momentum when you're not, like my Infernal series, it's sort of like demonic occult apocalypse.
Right.
My Devoured World series is sort of like military, sci-fi, futuristic, mechs, titans, massive, sort of like, we call them dread hulks, but sort of like airborne battle cruisers and stuff like that. It's a completely different series to Hellspawn, which is basically an everyday family based around a plumber, because I'm a plumber, just sort of trying to survive with minimal weaponry. There's some remnants of the British Army thrown in there, but they're not the core of the book. So it's not even as if I'm writing across three series that really, and then the urban fantasy on top of that is a completely different one. I'm not, the people that I've got following me are quite good in that they'll read everything that I put out. But in terms of getting a fan base for my, like everyday British family, surviving the Zombie series, Hellspawn, they're not getting anything fast enough in terms of what I'm happy with them getting, so it depends how fast you can write, really, mate. If you can put them out quick enough alongside your other stuff so that you're happy in your own mind, there's not too much of a period between releases, then yeah, by all means go for it. As I say, I'm conscious of the fact that I'm letting people down, which I think is also another thing that it's playing on my mind constantly. And I think that is another bit of a mind block, not in terms of stopping me writing, but it frustrates me.
So I know it's becoming more of a chore that rather than something you want to do, right?
Yeah. And as I say, it is exactly that. And it's, I love writing, but the story that I need to write, I can't write properly at the moment. And writing the others, although I'm enjoying them, once again, it's in my mind, I know that I'm not writing what I need to be writing. And it is a chore. If I'm putting 2,000 words, 3,000 words into Infernal, it's not getting me any closer to a goal that I've set myself. So yeah, I hadn't even thought about it in those terms, Angel, but that is pretty much exactly how it feels. I'm not enjoying what I'm working on. I need to be on something else, but I cannot get my head to agree to it. Just won't do it.
And Ricky, that's the worst feeling in the world, man. That is the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah,
I've been there before.
It's
well, now
crushing.
as the resident fan of the whole group here, I will first off apologize because I am one of those fans that I finish a book and I know that the next book it's ongoing. It's being written, it's being edited, it's being whatever. And I'm just like, where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at?
But you're right to feel like that, Jack.
Right.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't want you guys to rush. I don't want you to feel like you need to hurry up and get it to me because I fear that you rush it and something gets left out or something doesn't quite get molded the way it needs to. And I would rather take the shot of just having to wait, be patient, because God, there are so many of you guys. And I'll just go check out somebody else for a little while. And then when you drop, it's like a celebration. It's like a big celebration.
Yeah, but Jack, the way I take it, whenever you bug me, I kind of take it the other way. I kind of take it as inspiration. Like, man, this guy really cares about what I put out there, so it inspires me to write even more.
Well, good.
Same here. Yeah,
it buckles me down. You know what I'm saying?
I do bug these too, by the way.
Yeah,
and I'll probably start bugging you once I get started on yours. I'll be bugging you too. So
yeah, no, it's that used to motivate me, but it doesn't motivate me to do what I need to do. So, when I get the messages, oh, I really loved it. When's the next one? And I'm like, I really don't know, but I'm sort of like 14, 15 books in now. And I don't know whether it's just, it's just that point where I'm sort of a little bit burnt out. What are we at? About 1.3 million words, something like that across the books.
Dang.
So I don't know whether it's partly a bit of burnout, or like I say, it's just, with sort of life being what it is, and the complications that I've got, maybe it's just a bit of stress on top of everything else. But I'm moving forward just slowly. I'm not stopped. So, there is progress.
Good. As long as it's something, it's something.
Exactly.
Hey guys, I don't mean to cut you up. I see a couple of questions on the feed here. One being, it says from Ed Dingpen. He says, I have started your guys' books yet, but are any of your books Mark Tufos books where they kind of tied into each other? That's what he was asking.
Oh, like Indian Hill and Zombie Fallout, same characters, different universe.
Yeah, speaking for myself, my series are completely independent until Hellspawn 0.5 comes out, which follows another 4 groups of survivors, basically about sort of 80 miles along the south coast in a completely different area. But no, for myself, my series are completely independent of one another. Devoured World, Infernal, and Hellspawn are set completely different time periods, different places with different foe. So no, not for me, Ed. Sorry, no.
Well, now, do you ever?
For me, the Fifth Survivor, I got the Fifth Survivor series and Angel's Nightmare Adventure, and they tie into each other loosely. When I mean, and it's very loose though. But you can see it's the same. It's the same villain, the same enemies. It's kind of, it was when I wrote the Fifth Survivor, it was supposed to be like a side story, like a side quest to Angel's Nightmare Adventure. But then it just took off and became his own thing after. So I wouldn't say they tie into each other loosely, but not completely, if you know what I'm saying.
I think you've got to have a very clever mind to be able to, write across, start out sort of zombie apocalypse and then move into demons and werewolves and all the other bits and pieces.
I see another question here
sheer
from
genius.
Miranda. She asked, do you think writing multiple stories at the one time you lose momentum because you are concentrating on so many storylines?
Yeah, it could very well be that. The annoying thing is that I started out as a pantster, a 100%, I knew the characters, I knew the setting they were in, but I kind of let them do their own thing in terms of whether they get themselves eaten or not. I moved them from place to place, and the stories developed as they did. Now I'm sort of quite deeply into not so much the Infernal series. I'm only 2 into that, but the others are sort of 4 and 7 books in, respectively. I've started to plot a little bit more, so it's not even as if I don't know where the story's got to go. I think it might just be that I'm pulling myself in so many different directions. I'm like that cardigan where you just grab one of the strands and you start tugging it and it just starts to unravel. That's kind of sometimes how I feel. So what I really need to do is just sort of sit myself down, say to myself, this is what you're doing, and not leave the room until something's done. But knowing what my head's like, it'll probably just say no anyway, and I just sit there doing nothing. So
well, now Richard, you're working on the novella right now, and I remember we've talked about in the past how you didn't know if you want to make that part of the main body of book 2 or if you were going to do it separately, and you decided to make it a novella. What led you to make that decision?
It's just a matter of the amount of story that I had to write to tell the background story of the Rougarou War.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm already about 25,000 words into the novella, so I'm over halfway done with that. So now can I make this part of book 2? But I've got so much story to tell in book 2, it's going to make it incredibly long. And my first book was my book was my first book was 177,000 words. So I wanted to give the reader something in between. so that you get the background, because I've got to tell the backstory of the Rougarou War before I can roll into book 2. And so, I mean, Ricky, you mentioned, going from like zombies to werewolves, demons, and all that, kind of like Mark Tufo does. That is kind of the Wild-Eyed Southern Boys saga. We're going to see werewolves, vampires, and aliens and other cryptids in future books. And
looking forward to it.
I can't wait to write it. But yeah, and I've also got ideas for like completely alternate stories that's outside of the Wild-Eyed Southern Boys universe. But I can see Buford and Rue going on into other adventures in alternate universe kind of stories. Got a sci-fi series that I've got in mind, and it's going to have Buford and Rue as the main characters, but completely different story background. So
Brilliant.
Working on that. Yeah.
That's going to be awesome. So now, Ricky, let everybody know exactly where on this beautiful planet you are located.
I am blessed to live on the south coast of England, near I suppose it's pretty much getting on to be a city now, called Bournemouth. It's one of the main sort of beach towns of England. It's one of the most popular tourist attractions. We live just outside, I think what you'd call suburbs. We sort of live in a little village outside of it, so we don't get the worst of the people in the traffic. But yeah, it's lovely down there. I moved across from sort of the Portsmouth area where Hellspawn starts out, because I started teaching plumbing. So I moved across and taught at Bournemouth College, because they were the ones that paid for my teaching degree. So it was a move to save me hours and hours of driving every day, because it was a good 2-hour commute there and 2-hour commute back on one of the grottiest roads in England. It's just I think you call it the freeway. It's just a motorway. It's just gridlock and it's nonsense all day, every day. So we moved down here, made the choice as a family to move down here, and yeah, we've never looked back. The area we live is lovely. So
okay,
yeah, south coast of England.
Well, now in the United States and various places around the world, we all have our own individual folklores. Loch Ness monster, Sasquatch. Can't call him Bigfoot. That's racist. All these different creatures. Do y'all have anything in your area similar to that?
Nothing.
Wow.
No, it's, I don't know whether it's because we're so condensed. I don't know what it is, but we've got ghost stories and all the bits and pieces. Obviously, being the places that we've got, there's a lot of history behind a lot of places. There's a lot of ruins around. There's an old abandoned church, not too far from where I live, where I previously lived. There was sort of a story of a guy that sort of hanged himself in the local forest. Me and a lot of my friends have seen the guy that supposedly killed himself, and we can't explain how he appeared and how he disappears. But yeah, in terms of ghosts, we've got a lot of ghosts, no real creatures other than the Loch Ness monster, which is probably just some geezer in the pool going like that with his hand out. But but yeah, it's a shame in a way, because I look into a lot of urban legends over there, and you've got the story of the sort of the teenage lovers, and he gets out of the car to go and investigate a noise, and then they're scuffing on the roof, and it turns out that he's being killed by a serial killer, and it's his feet kicking on the roof, all that kind of stuff, and the chupacabra, and all the sort of amazing stories, that have been, become urban legends and folklore over there. But over here, we might have, but if we have, I've not really heard about it, to be honest.
Okay.
Which is a shame, really.
It is.
The Beast of Blackmore, is that anywhere near there?
What's that?
The Beast of Blackmore, is that anywhere near there?
2 seconds. Let me just Google that.
Hey, technology actually working right. Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just wondering where I am in relation to that. Oh,
Be kind of fun to find out.
Yeah, Google's really not being helpful on that one. No.
I'm with you on the ghost, though. I've seen ghosts. I believe in ghosts wholeheartedly.
Yeah, me too. I'm a believer in spirits and ghosts myself. So
I watch. My my daughter and my wife love the sort of like the ghost hunters, and they're like, oh, look at this orb, and look at this. But the ghost that I saw was completely solid. That there was no it was no opaque. You couldn't see through him or anything like that. He was a solid figure, dressed all in black, long black, what we call probably trench coat, and sort of wide brimmed black hat. And the day that we saw him was in the height of summer on the beach, and basically we were down one side of the beach defences. We've got a big old, like sort of rocks, and then a kind of a walkway bit made of soil that's been built up over hundreds of years. And on the other side, we've got a river and a little walkway bit on the other side. And we were sort of down there just doing what teenagers do at the time, which, might have had something to do with it, but no, probably not. But one of my friends decided that he was going home, and he began walking along the lower side of it next to the river. A few seconds go by. It's probably about 300-400 yards to the point where you turn off down what we call a public footpath, basically just like a bridle way. We've turned around, and there's a geezer walking along the top, staring down at him. So, he's literally walking along pace for pace, about eight or 10 feet behind him, just staring down at our friend. Now, being that we were little tearaways at the time, we didn't really appreciate this too much.
Well, right.
Why is he looking at our mate like that? What's going on? And he kept doing it. So we gave a little bit longer and said, if he follows Adrian, we're going to chase him and see what's going on, because this is, it's summer and he's dressed all in black. Adrian sort of takes the turning that we can see, and nothing follows. Okay, so within 2 or 3 seconds we run up the top, and up the top it gives you a full view of the entire bay. There's nowhere you can actually hide that you wouldn't be seen from this vantage point, and it's gone, disappeared like a puff of smoke. So we've run down to the corner where he could have potentially sort of jumped down and gone through barbed wire and the river. And beyond that, there's just an open field where horses graze sometimes, and there's nothing. It just disappeared.
Well, I guess I've chosen to not believe in ghosts primarily because I've never seen anything. I've been to plenty of places where supposedly they were haunted, and if you just did this or did that, something would appear. I've never seen anything. Why do you think some people see ghosts and some people don't?
No idea. I mean, a lot of people say that some people are more attuned to the afterlife, psychic sensations or something like that. I don't think I particularly am. Maybe what I was taking at the time got me a little bit more attuned to the psychic, but we won't go into that. When we're young, we do things. But no, the other friends that saw him as well, you wouldn't pick them at, they're little rapscallions. You wouldn't picture them as anybody open to the spirit world. And it's kind of, is it spirits, or is it sort of like a feedback loop of times that have gone before that we're just catching glimpses of, like an old video player just superimposed over, and we're seeing scenes and stuff? Yeah, I don't know. But as I say, he appeared from nowhere without walking past us, and we would have heard someone walking past us scuffing, only feet from us, and he disappeared into nothing impossibly, within 1 or 2 seconds of Adrian rounding the corner and we've run up the top, he's gone. And we said to him later, did you hear the fella following you? No, I didn't hear or see anything. So as I say, it's whether it's a ghost or whether, like I say, it's just, picking up a scene that played years ago. Maybe we're in the Matrix and it's just, Agent Smith.
Some kind of a time echo kind of
thing.
I
don't know. But I found a bent silver spoon on my walk the other day when I was out walking the dogs, and that kind of freaked me out a little bit. So but as I say, I've been on ghost hunts with friends. We've got a lot of old forts. R.R. Hayward, his Undead series, the forts that he writes in his story, Fort Purbeck and places like that. Basically, they're sort of like embedded onto the hills, overlooking the Solent and stuff like that. Been to ghost walks, places like that. Heard nothing, seen nothing. But this figure, as I say, as solid as you are to me now, other than the fact that it's just wearing all black and draped in shadow, completely solid. Very strange.
Wow.
I see a comment here by Edgar Dingpen. He says, "I live right by the prison where Shank Redemption was filmed, and he says it's supposed to be super haunted. He said he worked there building a haunted house for a few years, and he never seen anything at all. But other people have seen and heard things all the time. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Absolutely blinding film.
A place I could take you all to that will make a believer in any of you.
All right.
Yeah, I want to hear
okay.
this.
Mm-hmm.
And Jack,
Oh, sounds
when I get
interesting.
back up, when I move back to Tennessee next year, that I can take you there, very easily. We live in the same state at least,
Yep. Yeah, we're making a road trip.
Oh yeah, this place called Indian Cave. And I've been there multiple times and I've seen some unbelievable stuff. I mean, if I ever had any doubts about ghosts or anything, my gosh, this place is off the hook. And then there was actually a paranormal investigation done there. I think it's like a university. I have to, look it up online because they gave a full report talking about how haunted this place is. And now I can tell you, I've seen full body apparitions. I've had stuff thrown at me in there. You can, the Native Americans in the area used to live in that cave, and you go in there and you could hear the whole, drums beating and the hoya, just all that.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it will make a believer out of anybody, even the most skeptical people. I can tell you that. I mean, it's closed off to the public nowadays, so I have to kind of figure out how I can get in there legally. I definitely get us in there illegally, but I'd like to do it legitimately. I don't want to lose my security clearance and get arrested. So,
yeah, I was going to say, well, we can flash like a military badge, be like, "Hey, Air Force, we're investigating something. Back off."
Yeah. I might get away with that. Yeah, but
so now the thing is,
check this place out.
Have you ever gone in with like recording equipment when you've gone in there?
Yeah, we recorded we did like a little video recording of an apparition. It didn't turn out very well, but I also took a voice recorder in there, and it had like we had some orbs on some of the photos, but I mean I'm not big on I see orbs in a picture. It could be dust. I mean,
Dust. Yeah.
I'm very pragmatic when it comes to any. If I'm looking at anything paranormal, I'm not going to just say the least little thing is a ghost. I want to. If it's something I cannot debunk whatsoever, cannot explain whatsoever, then it's kind of like, okay, maybe there's something to it. So but there's stuff down there. I cannot tell you any way, shape, form, or fashion that it could be anything other than the paranormal that's causing it.
Okay.
I could talk about it all day. I know we don't have that much time. I don't steal
All right.
Ricky's thing.
No,
All right, well,
another day. We're gonna have to go into that.
Yes, we
Definitely,
will.
definitely.
Now, maybe do like a special where that's specifically what we're talking about is ghosts, cryptids, things of that sort. We can do whatever we want. It's our show. So
Well,
now, Ricky, what is one of the biggest influences that you have? Whether it could be something on television, movies, books, something that helps fire up your writing, that makes you, you watch something, you go, "Ooh, I got an idea," and you maybe take it from that to your
Nightmares.
typewriter. I can relate to those, brother.
Most of my sort of new ideas and short story ideas come from nightmares. I have really vivid nightmares that sort of don't scare me, but I'll wake up at sort of like 3-4 o'clock in the morning and I'll get my phone out and I'll jot a little note down because I'm the world's worst for forgetting, that was a really good idea. And then I'll just go straight back to sleep, and by 7 o'clock in the morning, I've completely forgotten it. So in terms of ongoing, it is my nightmares, that what's it like, nightmare fuel. It is the nightmare fuel is fuel for my stories. But originally it was all the sort of, when I forget what age I was. I can't have been much more than sort of 9 or 10 at the time, but I was meant to be going to sleep and I ended up turning on the TV quietly middle of the night. And
Mhm.
it turns out I'll go back to a little bit. It was a black and white film. Didn't really know what was going on, but it looked okay. And it had people going for a petrol pump. And though the petrol pump ended up getting shot and exploded, and these creatures are sort of like, ferreting through the bodies and they're eating them. And I'm like, what's this? And so I got up the next day, and it turns out I'd caught the last half of the original Night of the Living Dead, because back then we had TV guides. So the first thing, straight up in bed in the morning, ran downstairs, got the old TV guide out and found out it was that. And everything sort of Romero, barring, okay, maybe a couple of his later films that just kind of went off the rails a little bit, but we will pretend that only night, dawn, and day exist, and we'll maybe land after a few beers. But the original trilogy, but it fascinated me in a way nothing else ever has since. You've got the sort of like we brought out the 28 Days Later, and you've got the Runners in World War Z, and they're all running and stuff like that. But none of them had the same impact as those just slow, meandering, groaning, rotting monsters. And then you catch Lucio Fulci's sort of stories, and you've got the island, you've got the Spanish graveyard, and you've got the bit at the end when everything goes to hell, and you've got the zombies walking across Brooklyn Bridge, and the people are driving out trying to escape it. They're not a dangerous foe one-on-one. It's not the fact that it's one coming up on you just moving slowly. It's not going to be that much of an issue, but it was the whole, these things are decomposing. Not only have you got to fight them, you've got to deal with the fact that they're falling to pieces, and the stench. I've been around dead things before, and just having that smell on top of being in a sort of like fight for your life situation. Yeah, that unlike anything else, was my inspiration. And Hellspawn 1 was basically my British Night of the Living Dead. It's in Kurt's house. Once number one's out the way, they move out into the big wide world, and all goes completely bonkers from there. But the original Hellspawn was basically written as a tribute to the great man himself, Romero. I'm only sorry that I never got a chance to meet him before he passed. But yeah, as I say, in terms of back in the day, Romero, 100%, Lucio Fulci. But going forward, yeah, it's literally just, I don't know what, I might have some cheese or something before bed, and then the movie starts playing in my mind, and I'm sort of like going through this nightmare house, like, oh, sort of, oh, that's quite interesting. Let me, and I'll wake up at some point, and, then jot a couple of notes down, and sometimes I'll wake up in the next morning, and it'll just be absolute gibberish what I've typed down. I'm like, what does that even mean? What did I see? But yeah, as I say, it's nightmares at the minute.
Well, sticking along with the nightmares idea, I've got PTSD. I've had some major surgeries. I've had an issue once where my intestines literally started to slide out of my body.
Jesus.
Not a good scene. It was pretty freaking bad. And years later, after all that, I would occasionally have a piece of a stitch that was still beneath the skin would start to make its way to the surface and then come out. Well, I have a recurring dream to where they start growing out of my entire body, to where like I'm becoming a giant porcupine of stitches. Are any of your dreams recurring?
No.
Okay.
No,
always fresh.
Yeah. When I was a lot younger, I had one recurring dream. Basically, a witch was after me. I can only have been about 7 or 8 years old. But it was exactly the same every night, and I never saw her or anything, but I knew she was there. And when I would eventually wake up, I'd have to run past the sort of dark bathroom door to get to my mum and dad's bed, and I would know that she was in there waiting for me. But since being older, no, it's a scene from Hellspawn, or it's a little snippet from Devoured World, or it's a completely different thing entirely. It's a little bit from Infernal. It's something else. I don't know. In all honesty, since I was probably about 8, 9 years old, I've never had the same dream twice. But after what you've been through, mate, I'm not surprised you're having a little bit of a flashback to that. Jesus.
Oh, well, 1 year to the month of March, before the first blood clot got me that led to all the fun that I had since, I got attacked by a friend's pit bull, which why I have scarring and I have a cadaver
Ouch.
nerve in my right hand, and I'm
wow.
right-handed, so that's good. And I got some puncture wounds in the left arm
Jeez.
from that. So I occasionally have
Jesus
the
Christ.
dream about dogs, things like that. But you know what? Hey, I'm still alive. Who cares?
Well, yeah,
It is what it is.
I
Right.
was bit on the bum by a dog when I was younger, and that terrified me for years straight up. You know, I'd get one come near me growling, and I'd be in pieces. So, yeah, fair play to you, mate. That is terrible.
Yeah,
And the thing is, I'm a dog guy. And
Yeah.
here's what makes this is actually the only funny part in the whole thing. The dog that bit me, his name was Jack. So it was literally Jack on Jack crime.
Very good.
So there you go on that. Angel,
was-
what you got, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, for me, when it comes to recurring dreams, for me, it's hurricanes. You know, we got hit by a bad hurricane September 2017 here in Puerto Rico, and you know, I just can't. That's just one dream I can't get rid of. You know, getting hit. You know, whether it's my house getting flooded or you know, just none of the wind, seeing my friends gone, it just stinks, and it's something I don't like talking about too much, but you know, I can get out there so people know. Yeah, it sucked. You know, I have PTSD, but Mike Jack, I'm still here.
Mm-hmm.
Still here.
Kick it. What about you, Rich?
Well, yeah, man, I've had my bouts with PTSD as well, and yeah, I you know, of course, I'm career military, been deployed, and I the worst thing I've seen in the military was actually I was at the Reno Air Races. I was doing recruiting and retention marketing for the Guard Bureau, and I was a recruiter. Yeah, I was security forces going overseas and guarding bases and stuff, and never saw that much. I saw more action as a police officer, but I was at the Reno Air Races, and we had I don't know if you remember it on the news where the plane crashed into the crowd.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Jesus.
I was there. I saw the whole thing, and saw the carnage left behind, and it's like, I'd been a police officer 10 years prior to going active in the military, and I've seen blood, guts, brains, and I've seen all that. I lost a friend in the line of duty, and there's a lot of things that taught me about that, and and seen suicides and car wrecks, and a lot of things that still haunt me to this day. And but that was one thing that just brought back a lot of god awful memories when I saw that just on a large scale. I mean, it was a proverbial slaughterhouse, but
Man.
probably the biggest thing.
Can't
as far
even
as
imagine.
Oh yeah, nightmares. I have the same nightmares a lot of military and a lot of law enforcement people have, as far as you're getting into a fight and you can't hit somebody hard enough. Or,
Yeah.
or you pull out your gun. I talk about it some in my book, some of my own experiences, and have it apply to the main character Rue. There's a 1,000-pound trigger pull where you pull your gun out and you got to shoot someone, but you can't pull the trigger. Or you pull the trigger and your gun falls apart, or the bullets shatter or don't do anything. It's I have dreams like that. My wife, back when I was still a police officer, I did a lot more. I fight, yell, scream in my sleep, and my wife woke up one morning. I had a pillow and a chokehold, and I'm punching it, telling it to stop resisting.
Wow.
Yeah, she's right here. She can vouch for it. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. That's a lot of what I've gone through. But yeah.
Okay. Well, hey. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry
Angel.
to interrupt, Jack. We have a question by Miranda Buckney. She asks us
Oh.
for the group. Is there any authors that inspire you or someone you idolize?
All right, Ricky, go ahead and lead us off.
Oh, loads. I wasn't aware of an indie scene when I first started writing. And once that opened up to me, prior to the indie scene, it was Robert McCammon, James Herbert, Clive Barker, Stephen King's earlier stuff. I'm not a great fan of his later stuff. Dean Koontz, Richard Lehman. His stuff's a little bit rapey for me. He seems to have a fascination with but beneath the, that kind of it, he does tell some good stories, like Beast House and things like that. Stephen Laws, there's probably more, but those prior to, uncovering the whole indie scene, that they were my go-tos. And, since opening up the indie scene, I was lucky enough to sort of have sort of Sean Chesser and a few of the others when I first put the feelers out, basically just as a complete new kid on the block, hi sir, any tips, and they were kind enough to give me tips. So yeah, I've read loads. I mean, some of the books that you've got behind you there, I've read some of those. Tufo's, when I first, yeah, exactly, yeah. When I first read the some assholes licking my peephole.
I've got that. I have that vinyl sticker
It's
in the
brilliant.
back window of my truck.
Yeah,
I have that vinyl sticker.
I wish,
and the T-shirt coming.
Yeah, I wish I could come up with bits like that. Just that absolute. You've got a mouthful of drink, and did I just read that? Did that actually just come out on the page? And the dog and the stories and just the characters in it are absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, I've kind of moved away entirely from reading, what I'd call mainstream authors. And I what I try and do is anybody that I'm friends with, I'll work through one book at a time of their series. That in itself is a nightmare because I like
God,
to
I know.
series.
Yeah, right.
To be fair to everyone, I buy most of their work anyway. Not necessarily everything. Stuff in their backlist that I would enjoy. Apocalyptic type stuff and all that kind of. And then, yeah, I'll basically work through one book at a time on a kind of cycle that seems to just grow ever bigger as I meet more and more people. And my to be read list, it is just horrifying to me now. I dread opening my Kindle because something new goes ping, ping, loaded.
Notifications go off my crazy.
Oh, mate, it's a nightmare. But no, as I say, it's the writing might not be as, polished as Clive Barker, but the heart behind it is phenomenal. I'd love to be able to write like Clive Barker because he just has a way with words. It's just like silk to my ears.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as I say, the fact the prose might not be as good as Clive Barker's in the indie stories, it doesn't take away from it. They've just got a whole lot more heart. And when you've got comments like some assholes licking my peephole, and yeah, it's that kind of thing. Like I say, it's nowadays I very rarely pick up anything in the bookstore or online. I've picked up a couple of McCammon's later stuff, but I haven't bought any King or anything for ages. They're all up in the loft, and my Kindle's now just full of guys like Rich, Angel. I haven't got to any of your books yet, Angel and Rich, but they're there and they are gonna slowly, make their way to the front of the list, same as everybody's.
Trust me, you're gonna love these two guys. You absolutely are, and that's the whole.
From their personalities, I know that I'm gonna enjoy it.
Yep.
Well, see, that's like the whole purpose of this wall behind me. There's no Stephen King up here. There's no Dean Koontz up here. There's no established per se authors up there. These are all indie, and that's all this wall is for. It's for you guys. It's for that because I got out of reading for years. Like I just quit. I mean, I was into Dean Koontz and Stephen King, some Peter Benchley because I love Jaws. But then I just kind of was like, okay, whatever. And I just moved on. And then I stumbled on Mark Tufo, which is why he's got his own little spot over there because he's what caused all this for me. This is where it all brought it back.
And
I'm telling you now, I have found more enjoyment reading the indie author than I ever got. And I mean that, than I ever got from reading the established Kings and Koontzes. Because like you said, it's like that silky smooth writing. Everything's so perfect. Every word's in the right place. Every little descriptor's right.
Yeah.
To me, the imperfections, the more this literally came from my head to my heart to the page. It feels more real. Exactly. It feels real. And that's what I love about it so much. And I mean, thanks to writers like you, Ricky, to Rich, to Angel, Tufo, Merrill David, who I'm currently working on right now with his Wicked Awake series. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, Rich, what are some of your big inspirations?
Well, yeah, I mean, I started out reading Stephen King, and I got through Pet Cemetery, and it was kind of hard to get started on that, but I mean, it turned out to be a pretty good book. And I've tried to start with others, and I just couldn't get through it. It just like, come on, get to the story already. But yeah. So I mean, I had there for a long time. I would listen to an audiobook every once in a while, and I got the book World War Z. My kids gave it to me for Father's Day because they knew I was a big zombie fanatic, and absolutely loved that book. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to write my own zombie book, and I was already a Walking Dead fan and everything, and read all the comics for that. So, and the World War Z movie compared to the book, I mean, come on, there's night and day difference. The book is just phenomenal. But so that inspired me, and then same as you, Jack, I got into Mark Tufo, and some people might draw parallels to like Rue and Buford, kind of like a Mike and BT, and I promise you that that's not what that wasn't a copy from Tufo, because I had the idea for Rue and Buford when I was like in my 20s. I'm in my 40s now. It's long before I ever read or listened to any of Tufo stuff, but I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of cool. You got Mike and BT, and you got Rue and Buford. It's kind of the same kind of a relationship these two guys have, and but it was an inspiration for me to write the stories, and I went the journal route, the journal entry route, with Rue and Buford and Wild Eyed Southern Boys. And originally I tried to write it in all third person. Yeah, I didn't originally intend to do the first person journal entry thing, but I got further into the story. I'm like, I'm gonna have to go back and fix this, because writing first person just seems to work better for me, because you can really get into the character's mind, what they're thinking and everything, better when you're actually describing their own thoughts from their perspective. So the way Tufo writes is just his journal entries and everything. I was like, no, I'll just go with the journal entry thing, and it seemed to work out. So,
well, that's one of the things I do love about
Brooks.
That's one of the things I do love about your book, is the fact that you did go journal style. Like you said, that first person perspective with how they feel, how they're thinking, because it's hilarious when you'll have Rue telling a story, and then he'll get to a part where it really didn't go the way he said it. He's like, hey, it's my journal. Yeah. I'll write it how I want to write it.
Exactly.
That makes it hilarious. It's great. So Angel, how about you, buddy?
When I was growing up, I had my Stephen King, Steve Coots, but my latest inspiration, how I got started writing, was reading the Knit RPG indie scene. Now, I'm bigger in Knit RPG than zombie, so I read now the authors in the Knit RPG, and man, these guys have some real talent, man. I mean, I'm sure Jack has read a couple of them already.
Oh,
yeah, some real talent. I mean, I grew up in the video game, universe. I was a bookworm, but at the same time, I grew up with the PS1, the Nintendo 64, and I kind of grew up with video games were starting to pop out more. So, I had the idea of turning my story, like a video game. I played a lot of video games by Final Fantasy that I thought the story, the story was good, but it could use a little more work. It wasn't as polished, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, because they were focused more on the game, and then the cutscenes were just to kind of carry the story along. Versus if you're writing a book, it is the story. Like everything is the story.
So I'm like you, Jack. I read mostly indies now. I don't read the traditional authors anymore. I'm more into the indie scene. I might support my Venom indie authors too. So I'll read some of their stuff as well.
I'll tell you, it's a gold mine. It's an absolute gold mine.
It really is.
So, hey, Ricky, actually, real quick, Angel, have you got any new questions popped up?
No.
Okay, good deal. So let me ask you this, Ricky. What is a food that you absolutely deplore? I'm going to take us completely off script right now.
I am the fussiest eater you'll ever come across.
Oh, this could be good then.
Oh, it's terrible. You get those lists on Facebook where it says, assign 1 point for every food you won't eat. And I'm like, okay, 10, 20, 30. Okay, maybe I should just count on one hand the foods that I will eat.
Oh Lord.
I was terrible. I still am terrible. I'm not as bad as I used to be, but I mean, I won't eat the rind on bacon because I once choked on a bit. It got stuck in my back teeth, and the rind went down my throat, and I couldn't get it out either way.
Oh damn.
So
I
I'll
was gonna
cut
say-
the rind off of bacon. I'll cut the fat off of steak. My dad looks at me horrified. You know, I'll cut the fat off and I'll put it to one side, and he's looking at me in disgust.
No, I do the same thing. I do not eat the fat off a steak or a pork chop. Gotta go.
Vegetables, I'm not a great fan of. You know, I'll eat broccoli, I'll eat carrots and things like that, but I'm not a great fan of mushrooms. My wife, on the other hand, she will eat anything, and she's got what I would call a proper palate. You know, a Gordon Ramsay palate, and she'll have this dish, and it'll taste absolutely exquisite to her, and I'll taste it. I'll be like, oh, just give me some meat and taters. You know, just get that shit away from me. But no, like I say, I'm terrible. I'd be screwed in the Zompok. I really would, because I'd go break into a store and all the good food would be gone. I'd be like, oh no, I'll go hungry today. I don't think I'd probably sooner turn around and kill and eat one of my friends and cook up a bit of thigh. Anybody listening that's going to be on my Zompok team, don't worry. But yeah, no, I'm terrible with it. I really am.
Oh Lord. All right, Richard, how about you? Is there like some particular food you just cannot eat?
Well, I mean, I'm terrible with mayonnaise. Anything with mayonnaise on it, I can't handle. But
I could eat that stuff with a spoon. Just
yeah, oh my gosh, ugh. No way. But now bacon. Yeah, I'll eat the rind. I mean, you can wrap a piece of bacon around a dog turd, and I'll still eat it. But
you're just like me.
I tell you one thing that I tried and I just couldn't. I'm pretty adventurous eater, I like trying new things, especially from other countries and everything. But I tried menudo. When I first moved to Texas, I tried some menudo. It's not like a cow intestines and shit in it. I mean,
gut soup.
Yeah, oh my gosh, it's I still have nightmares about it.
There's a little
Maybe
place down for me that serves that.
Experience with menudo, and it'll terrify people.
Oh Lord,
it was awful.
Well, Angel, we already know you love the bacon, so I'm sure hearing what Ricky said probably traumatized you for at least the next 6 months. But what's something you just absolutely cannot eat?
Sushi.
With you?
No, I can't do it. I'm sorry, I can't. I like my fish fried. I like my fish fried. I like to taste the crispiness of the fish. The skin. I can't do raw fish. I'm sorry.
See, I told you were Southern. I told you were Southern. It don't matter that you were from up north. You're Southern. That fried.
No. And here's the thing, Jack. You might actually be right, because I like fried food more than anything else. I do. I love fried food. But my mom said I can't be eating it every day. It's not good for my health. But you know what I say to that? Screw that. Because if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die happy.
Absolutely.
Shoveling it in.
I don't know how the Japanese eat raw fish. I don't know how they do it, man. I mean, that's props to them, man. Props to Japan.
And they live to like 110 years old.
That's what I'm saying, man.
There you go.
Stuff.
But here, I mean, in Puerto Rico, we'll make. I mean, the thing about Jack and Rich is, even though I'm in Puerto Rico, we kind of have similar taste to you guys. We like fried food down here too. We have a similar taste.
I like fried food, but I'm into sushi. Yeah.
So so coming down here, it's not really that much different, to be honest.
Well, now is that more for you, Rich, the California roll or standard like sushi?
I mean, I like all kinds of sushi. I like California roll. I'm good with that, but that's not my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah, I like all kinds of sushi though. But anything that doesn't have cream cheese in it, though, if it has cream cheese in it, forget it.
Oh, I love cream cheese on a bagel.
Yeah, I don't do cream cheese. It's like mayonnaise.
Well, you got a point there. So now, Rich will have to be your expert on that question. What is a California roll?
Oh, you asking me?
Yeah.
It's like it's just a roll with rice, and then it has what kind of fish? Avocado and whitefish, and maybe little pieces of carrot in it or something. That's great.
That's deep fried, to make it taste right.
Huh?
And then that's
it's not
fried.
Deep fried.
Oh,
No.
no.
No, it's wrong.
No.
Yep.
Yeah,
See,
no.
we invented ovens for a reason.
Well, exactly. Yeah. I mean, when did we invent fire? What, 3 million years ago? Come on.
Yeah, at least
move with the
drag it
times.
over it, put some heat on it, do something.
Yeah.
Well, along the same lines, we're talking about food. We're just having fun, and I know we're kind of getting close to the end here, but I'm having way. This is awesome today. What is your favorite, above all else, favorite food, Ricky?
In terms of a meal, it would probably be the English Sunday roast. So meat, Yorkshire puddings, gravy, sage and onion stuffing, broccoli, carrots, roast potatoes, all the usual trimmings for a Sunday roast. In terms of day-to-day food, you call them chips, but I've got a fondness for crisps. I really I need to eat less of them. But
all right, what's your favorite
anything
style?
with a crunch?
What's your favorite style of crisp? You like, say, cheddar and sour cream, barbecue, sour cream and onion?
We have. When I came and stayed over with Christina for a couple of weeks, and we done the Scares That Care convention, I brought over a selection of our crisps. It seems we've got a much wider variety of flavors than there are in America. And the one that I choose is roast chicken and thyme. So
That's a thing.
Yeah, it's sort of like a herby roast chicken flavor. But Christina and her family tried them, hated them. So I think it's probably an acquired taste. But
I may have to send you some
shelves,
postage and get you to send me a bag of that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I've got all manner of stuff I can send out, Jack. That's not a problem. Yeah, but like I say, I think we're traveling up and down from sort of New Jersey to Virginia, and we stop at the gas stations and all the other bits and pieces. And the selection was, we've got sort of like 100, 200 flavors over here of different types of crisps. And I'd go in there and it was all like sour cream or salt and vinegar or just plain salted. So I just don't think our awesome flavors have made their way over to you yet. Maybe that's a business opportunity that me and you can speak about later.
Hey,
few
I like it.
Nice $1 million idea right there. Send over our rancid flavors and try and convert the Americans to it.
All right. Well, hey, Richard, what's your all-time absolute favorite?
My all-time absolute favorite. That's a broad subject. I love seafood first and foremost, but I tell you, I just love me a good steak. And I went to last night. I took my wife and my son to Ruth Chris Steakhouse, and it's one of those high dollar steak places, and we're celebrating my son. He's getting ready to graduate from Southern Miss, and with his bachelor's degree. So I took him out and treated him to a good dinner, and I had me a bone-in filet mignon.
Ooh.
Oh man, that thing was heavenly. And I got to the point where I'm getting near the bone, and I couldn't cut enough of the meat off. I'm just looking around, I'm in this fancy restaurant. What I want to do is
I know where this is going.
And just gnaw the meat off the bone. Like, okay, I better not do that in here. So I had them bag it up, just the bone, and I took it back to the hotel room and just, tore into it like a zombie.
Your own private shame.
Yeah.
You weren't like sitting in the bathtub with the shower curtain pulled where it's back in there, leave me alone.
No, I made my wife watch.
Oh, damn. Now that sounds like something different.
Okay, yeah, let's change the subject, guys.
Yeah, no, steaks would be up there as well, but they are extortionate over here. They're just unaffordable unless we have them as a treat. They really are.
Really,
especially when you get to the decent cuts. You can buy a rump or a sirloin, but you're taking a chainsaw to it over here.
Or a flank.
When I was over when I was over with Christina, I forget the name of the steakhouse. I think it's quite a famous one, but it was a 28 ounce, and I forget the name of it, but it had a portion of it was the fillet steak, and other side of the bone there was some other part of steak, but I forget what. It was
28 ounce.
Yeah, it was called something special. But
Big.
oh my God, if I ever moved to America, I would be monstrously fatter than I am now. I wouldn't make it 10 years. I would get the old diabetes and I would be gone within 10 years, honestly, because the stuff over there, it tastes so good, but it's so unhealthy.
They said, look, there's a reason that our country is known for obesity.
Yeah, we're not far
Yeah.
behind you, but your food tastes much better. Ours is just processed like £1 meal deals. It's just garbage. But over there, it's just we had sort of like egg and potatoes, proper breakfast every day, and yeah, it would be fatal.
Well, to keep the line of moving here, Angel, I already know what your answer is, so you're going to have to not only tell what it is that you love more than anything, but tell us why.
All right. Well, for starters, before I answer, Jack, actually, Puerto Rico, we're not far behind you guys when it comes to obesity. So don't feel too bad. We might actually be worse in that category, despite our lower population. But anyway, to answer your question, okay, if anybody who knows me even remotely knows I love bacon, but I love bacon because I ate it at a very young age. I just got hooked on it. I put bacon on hamburgers, even ice cream. Yes, if you need to try bacon on ice cream. And one of my friends,
look at Ricky.
I know Jack is Mike.
I'm not judging. I'm not judging. I am judging. I am judging.
Yeah, Jack, man, you're making me nervous, man. That math is so hard down there.
I know this is great. This is great.
No, but let me go on. And then one of my fans, she sent me bacon flavored cookies, bacon pieces on a cookie, and I tried it with ice cream. Oh, it's like the perfect combination of the sugary taste of the ice cream and the saltiness of the bacon. It's like a perfect balance of the two. I mean, I'm weird, but it's you're talking to the same guy who tried bacon flavored soda.
Exactly, and I'm still looking into trying to get some of that to try that.
Oh,
So, hey,
Ricky,
look,
you gotta try it, man.
I've had bacon on a donut.
It's one of those, but it's one of those things you try once and you never do it again.
Thank God for that.
No, I even tried the buffalo flavored soda, buffalo chicken flavored soda. That one actually tasted better, believe it or not.
No, I don't believe it.
But I mean, honestly, it did, but it's still not something I drink again. I still have the bottles on my bookcase as trophies. So
you need to post pictures of that. You need to put some pictures up of those so we can all see them.
I actually have. I'll put them up in New Native. So there you go. But bacon on everything. I even tried to do a recipe where I put bacon inside a chicken breast with cheese and I wrapped the chicken breast with bacon and cheese on it. Oh, wonderful!
We do that all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know we call it Hunter's chicken. So it's basically bacon wrapped sort of chicken breast, cheese, cheddar.
So,
Oh,
so how crispy do you get the bacon?
Trying to
say hello look at the baby.
Yes, he looks. Aw,
we got a cameo.
Oh, that's Honey, and that's Marco. That's the one we adopted. He was abused, bless him. Say hello, buddy.
Is that a lamb?
Well, I guess if we're doing that.
Yeah, two lambs.
There goes a little pup, Jack.
I'll bring this little guy. He is 17 years old. He's blind. He can't hear very well.
Wow.
He's basically jabbing without the wheelchair.
Ouch. Damn.
More lovable.
I wasn't going to go there, Dave, but you beat me to it.
Well, I thought I'd beat you to the punch on that one.
All right. I mean, anyway, to answer Jack's question, how crispy I like it, I don't like it bun. I like it crispy as long as it's not bunned.
Yeah.
I mean, just don't give me, just don't burn don't burn it for me. If you burn it, then you're dead to me.
Yeah, it's just charcoal at that point. But now when you do like say the bacon wrapped chicken, it's both Ricky and Angel. How do you get the bacon to get the right crispiness and not have the grease from the chicken soften up the bacon too much?
Cook the chicken, cook it all separately, and then finish it off.
Exactly.
All together.
Okay.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah,
there's the trick to the trade.
It makes it it extends the cook a little bit, but yeah, you obviously have exactly the problem that you were talking about. It just ends up a gloopy mess. So
Mhm.
yeah, we just cook it all separately and then just finish it off with the cheese and the
There you
barbecue
go.
sauce at the end.
There you go.
Bob's your uncle, done and dusted. But
All right. Well,
in terms of like bacon consistency, I'm exactly the same as Angel. It's not burnt, but it's got to be crispy enough. The worst bacon sandwich I ever had from a customer, and they microwaved the bacon.
Oh God, no! That's
Oh,
thin.
It was ghastly. She handed it to me, and I was like, "Oh, thank you so much."
Ricky, that's blasphemy.
And you're biting into it, and you're like just trying to grind your teeth through because the bacon won't. It's not cooked properly. It's still, it's like a rubber band, and
Oh God, Jack.
Normally when a customer offers a bacon sandwich, it's one of the
Jack,
best jobs.
I know you said
microwave.
that. Well, Ricky said before
sin.
about choking on bacon would traumatize me.
Mhm.
That's just traumatized me. Winnie,
Yeah, I
traumatized
nearly
me.
walked off the job in disgust. I was so angry with the lady.
Wow.
Oh,
But
come
I
on.
microwave
I
bacon.
was
That's a
contractually
sin.
obliged to finish the job, so I ended up having to do it anyway. But yeah, I looked at her disdainfully for the rest of the job, just like giving her the side eye.
It tastes like rubber.
It was awful. It was the worst thing I've ever tasted.
Oh God.
Such a waste. Such a waste.
That should be a criminal offense.
Yeah. I did phone the police, but they said no, apparently it's a civil matter. So
Oh,
Damn.
yeah, I was really upset about that.
Yeah, maybe you could sue for a couple pounds.
Yeah.
Who knows?
yeah, man. That Ricky, man, congratulations, man. You just traumatized me for real.
I'm sorry,
Congratulations.
Angel. I've
Yeah,
never seen it before or since. Never.
No, I seen it.
Oh.
Before, but man, but to have to go back to that memory. Oh,
I'm sorry for traumatizing
no,
you.
but you know what I did? No. Let me fit. You know what I did? I just threw in the guy's face. Said, "Here, take your stinking sandwich and give me my money back."
Damn.
That's what
I did.
Problem is, she done it for me out of the goodness of her heart, so I felt a bit bad if I was going to throw it back at her. But
this
I forced my way through it, and I didn't feel right for the rest of the day.
Ugh. Well, hey,
no, but this guy, this guy, I paid $4 for it, man. I wasn't about to just, let him keep the money. I'm about to say, hey, give me my money back, man. I'm gonna get a real sandwich.
Yeah, absolutely.
I never went back there again.
That's awful.
All right, guys.
Yep.
We need to go ahead and wrap this thing up.
All right.
Get this show done. Hey, Randy, are you still around out there, ready to close the show down for us? Got to check.
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right. Well, I am Jack Childress. I've been here with Richard Ryan Rose, Angel Ramon. Patty couldn't make it, and she apologizes because she really wanted to get to chat with you, Ricky. So maybe you could holler at her on the DMs or something,
Yeah, no problem.
Put a smile on her face.
We'll do it another day anyway. I'm well up for doing these all the time. I had an absolute blast. Loved it.
Excellent. Excellent.
Great having you.
Well, the way we usually like to do this, I'm going to start with Richard because I know he's got something he's got to go do. Tell everybody where they can find you.
I got to pee if that's what you're wondering. So.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, you can find me on, so I have my Facebook page, Richard R. Rose author page. There's also richardrrose.com, my website that I am currently trying to update. And you can find my first book, Wild-Eyed Southern Boys, on Amazon, Goodreads, Kindle Unlimited, and you also have the audio book available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes.
Got an amazing narrator, just to let y'all know. Now you go pee. Go.
Okay.
Go.
See ya.
Take care,
ya.
Rich.
All right, see
later.
you, Rich.
Take it easy, Ricky. See you guys.
It's later. All right, coming on around the horn. Angel, where can we find you, brother?
You could find me just like Rich. You could find me on Amazon. You can find me on Angel Ramon if you want to read my zombie books, or you can find me on Angelus Maximus if you want to read my historical fiction, including my new zombie novel, Betrayal of the Canine Beginnings. I'm working on book 2, almost done, and he's got it on the wall as well.
Yep, up and go the right direction.
That's a good wall.
There, right there.
Yep. You can also find me on Written Undead, of course, posting stuff every day and talking to your wonderful people. You can also find me on the Legionnaires of Angelus Maximus, which is my fan group, and I just started my newsletter, which I'm gonna put in the comments as well, so you can sign up for my newsletter. I won't be spamming you. It'll be a monthly newsletter. So there you
Now
go.
I hear there's gonna be occasionally a nude shot or two, though, right?
What?
Occasionally a nude shot.
No.
That's
That'd be
the only
fun.
reason I
see
signed
you try to
up for
sneak
it.
it in there, but
Yeah.
no.
All right, Ricky,
Disappointed now.
you're the man of the hour. Where can we find you, brother?
RickyFleet.com is my website. I'm the world's worst at putting myself out there. Despite how I come across, I'm actually really, really shy and really private. So being an author is anathema to me. It just does not come naturally. But all my books are on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited. I've got a few of my zombie series on Audible, not all of them yet. I will be slowly progressing through to get Devoured World and Infernal on there at some point. It's just working out the best way of doing it, whether it's profit share or whether it's pay outright. But yeah, rickyfleet.com. You can find me on Facebook. My author page, for some reason, ended up being changed to a personal page, and I've not been able to get into it. So anybody that's found me on Facebook and follows me there, I'm ever so sorry, but I can't actually get in. I don't know what to do about it. Facebook are no help whatsoever because they think I'm trying to break into the account. Hey ho. But feel free to send me a friend request. I don't post much about my books. I mostly just post funny videos and funny memes that I find. Yeah, Written Undead, I'm in there. But as I say, please feel free, friend request me, hit me up on the DMs. I'm more than happy to chat to people. I don't normally approach people. I'll wait for them to come to me, but I'll talk your ear off if you want to have a conversation about zombies or horror, anything like that at all. Jack, thank you so much for taking your time, buddy. I really do appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
I have absolutely loved this show. It's been a fantastic show. Thank you for coming on with us today.
My pleasure.
Thank you to everybody that tuned in to see what was going on here today. And by all means, please check out Ricky's work. Check out Angel's work. Check out Richard's work. Check out everybody in the Written Undead as best you possibly can.
Absolutely.
Because that TBR list is huge. There's no doubt about that. So for the gang and for Ricky Fleet, I'm Jack Childress. This has been the Written Undead podcast. We'll catch you next time. Peace
See you
out.
soon.
Guys.
Bye.